Gentlemen, Vampire Weekends, welcome to South by Southwest.
Thank you.
So you were saying you got here yesterday and you had a chance to kind of go out and about. What did you check out last night?
We saw White Williams at the Domino Showcase.
I've heard a lot about him. What was it like?
It was fantastic. I think he's one of the best bands out there right now.
So, I mean, we're here upstairs at a bar just on 6th Street where it kind of all happens. How would you kind of describe the atmosphere? Because last night it was pretty raucous.
Well, this this part is very empty. I don't know. It seems like it's exciting. Just there's a lot of people on the street. It's funny too because you can really tell who are these bands, and they tend to walk in packs. Sometimes they all dress the same.
Well, like tribes.
Yeah, it's exactly like tribes. Like my first impression was that it was like the movie The Warriors, which is all gangs in New York that dress differently. So that's kind of funny. Just like it's bizarre.
It's interesting that all the sort of bars are so big and have these huge open spaces where they can have large concerts. It's interesting, yeah.
How many shows are you doing over the 4 days?
We're doing 3 shows, so we're taking it easy. I mean, I can imagine that as a band you might be under a tremendous amount of stress if you were here at South by Southwest with some sort of goal in mind of like finding a label or a publisher or something like that, and you had to play 10 shows or more in as many days. But we've released an album about 5 weeks ago, so we feel, it's a different kind of stage maybe, so we can just enjoy it.
So you mentioned the record. In the UK, at least, it's been very, very well received. I mean, there's quite a lot of expectation about what you're going to do next in the UK. Did you expect the album to kind of be clasped to people's hearts in quite the way it was in the UK?
I didn't have much of an expectation for it. I guess I've always had an impression my whole life that people like better music in the UK, but maybe that's a grass is greener kind of scenario. Maybe that's just because I liked a lot of British bands. So I always felt like, oh yeah, in the UK and Japan, that's where everybody likes good music.
One of the things that I think seemed to excite people in the UK, at least, was quite how different your album sounds to basically everything else that's kind of been circulating around it. I mean, were your influences that much different to everybody else? Where did this record come from? Because it's a beautiful sounding album. There's some fantastic songs. I don't think there's a weak track on it, but it does sound radically different to everything else that people are listening to right now. I mean, where does that come from?
I guess maybe there were some bands that we like so much and are inspired by that maybe other people haven't heard.
Like,
I don't know, maybe the Dirty Projectors is a band that just in terms of ambition and concept, they've been friends of ours and we've played with them at various stages. So I think that band, for instance, just sort of made us very ambitious in a certain kind of way, and maybe that did influence our record.
You say that's a fair point?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what makes people get excited about something. I mean, we've been interested in pop music for a long time. I mean, ultimately, I think the freshness aspect of music and what makes it different is not as important as writing solid, good songs, because it's very empty when maybe something just has a new aesthetic but is not actually worth repeated listens. So, I think it was important to us to avoid things that we felt were overused, and that certainly influenced the way we went about things. But also, we just tried to make music that reflected what we liked.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Like, what we liked, we wanted to make an album just for ourselves to enjoy. So.
And finally, gentlemen, what's next for the next 6 months or so? Are you doing the UK festivals? Do you have any idea what's going to be next for you?
We're doing some festivals, yeah.
Are you doing Glastonbury?
We can't. I don't know. We gotta.
Doing at least 2.
That's management there going, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you.
We're doing at least 2 UK festivals. So we'll be on tour a lot, and we'll be hopefully recording our second album a lot.
Have you started thinking about that already?
Yeah, we started thinking about that before the first album came out.
Interesting way of doing it. Planning the record number 2 before record number 1.
Yeah, I think it's important because with our first album, we had a lot of time, because we recorded it before we ever talked to a label or anybody had heard of us, so we had a lot of time to think about what we wanted to do. So it's important not to feel rushed and into making a second album and not having time to think about what it's about the way we did for the first album. So it's good to get started early.
So how are the songs shaping up for album number 2? I can't believe you started thinking about it already.
I think it's going to be different, and
Really different?
it's going to be futuristic. That's the vibe. I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on in the low end. I can't reveal anything else.
You got some crazy robot master plan.
Robot.
Well, you said futuristic. You know, when you say futuristic, I think about Daft Punk.
Think Daft Punk.
Thank you very much, Tim. It's lovely to speak to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.